Hi there, it's Nicole here today, and I have an on-trend card to share with you, and today we're going to talk about elephants. This is a card featuring the Avery Elle Ellie stamp set. However, with the coordinating blog post, which is linked below the video here on YouTube, I have links to all of the recent elephant-themed cards that I have created from lots of different manufacturers. So elephants really seem to be popular right now, and for my card share today, I thought I would create a fun little shaker card. I am using the two largest stitched rectangle dies from Simon Says Stamp. I like these for shakers because they have the stitch lines on both sides of the die line. This is going to give you a really finished look all the way around the frame. So I'm going to just set that inside piece aside, and I can use it for another project and only keep the frame portion for the shaker card. Now I'm going to take the smaller of the two stitched rectangles and die cut that from some pattern paper. This happens to be some Avery Elle pattern paper. It's dark navy blue with some white kind of whimsical stars. This is going to be, I wanted the scene to look kind of like a nighttime scene with stars and then the little elephant sitting in the clouds. To create the clouds, I like to have my stitch lines, and it also is just easy because it's exactly the same size. So I usually start with my base piece, which in this case is going to be that smaller stitched rectangle. I've die cut that from vellum. And then I'm going to take a Pretty Pink Posh scallop border. This is one of the dies from the Stitched Borders 2 Pretty Pink Posh die collection. I'm going to die cut a cloudy border from that rectangle now. So get it all lined up exactly the way I want it to be, run that through, and there is one of my borders. The thing with vellum is your adhesive will show through a lot of times unless you have something on top of it. I like to layer if possible, simply because it allows you to hide your adhesive. So before I go ahead and die cut my other scalloped cloud border, I did die cut my transparency. This is going to encase my shaker material. This transparency is a 6x6 from Studio Calico. Now that white piece that I die cut from my frame, I went ahead and used that. It's already die cut, so it's already the perfect size. I am going to take that scallop border now, that Stitched Borders 2 Pretty Pink Posh border, and die cut a border from it. Now that I have the majority of my elements for my card, I'm just going to set all that aside and stamp the elephant and the star balloon from the Avery Elle Ellie stamp set. I'm going to color in my elephant using some warm gray markers, and then I will color in my balloon with some reds. There's actually two different balloons with this stamp set. There's a heart and a star. With the starry background, I felt like the star was going to be the better choice for this card. I am coloring my elephant pretty traditional gray colors. You could definitely do something different. I tend to gravitate towards this. I kept trying to think of a different color combination, but I really kind of prefer this for the most part. I do have a link to an elephant that I did for Valentine's Day that I did in pinks, and it turned out really, really cute. So I think it just depends on the project. With the rest of the elements for this card, I just personally liked the gray colors the best. I've mentioned it before, but I want to mention it again. I choose the warm gray markers as opposed to the cool grays or the toner grays or anything, mostly because of the kind of brownish undertone. I think it gives a much more realistic look when you're coloring in animals, critters, fur, things like that. I just prefer that over the cool grays, which kind of have a bluish undertone to them. I'm going to add some texture to the skin with some dots now. And I did color in the cheek with a little bit of R20 pink. I like to go over that with one of my lighter warm grays to mute it a tad bit. Then for my red balloon, this is going to be that pop of color on my card, where so much of the card is either white, gray, like for the elephant, or the navy blue background. There's not a ton of color. So I wanted to bring in a really nice pop of color, and the red balloon allows that. I'm using R22, 24, and 46 for my balloon. Once I have that all colored in and shaded the way I want, I am going to take the coordinating Avery Elle Ellie dies and then pop those over the images. I am going to use a little washi tape to hold them in place. I usually use Post-it tape, but I was out when I created this card. So I just grabbed some washi tape and I'm going to carefully just tape that there and run those through my Big Shot. Now I have my card, not my card base, but I have a large stitched rectangle. That's going to be the back of my shaker. I die cut that using the larger of the two stitch rectangle dies. Because this shaker is not going to be the size of an A2 card, it's slightly smaller. I like to create a backer for this so I don't have to try to line it up on my card. And I'm going to go ahead and assemble all of the shaker elements here. I have attached the starry background. I attached the vellum right to the starry background. The vellum clouds are going to be inside of the shaker. Now that I have it kind of lined up and have that base piece, I'm going to take my frame and attach it to the transparency. I like to build my scenes with lots of layers. So where the starry background and the vellum cloud are going to be inside the shaker, the white cloud and the elephant and the balloon and the greeting are going to be on the outside of the shaker. So I'll attach that cloud, which is already perfectly sized because I die cut the rectangle first and then die cut the cloud from that. And then I can attach my elephant and the balloon and my greeting. Now before I attach the die cut word hello, this is from the Hero Arts stamp and dies that coordinate. So there is a greeting set that has the hello die, which I die cut from some silver glitter paper, and then it has also the same image from a stamp and then coordinating stamped phrases. I'm using white StazOn ink to stamp the phrase sending you hugs on the transparency itself. That way it's not going to get covered up with any shaker material if I had stamped it and placed it inside the shaker. Then I'll add some little dots of glue to the die cut word hello and attach that right there on top of the transparency as well. I'm using some acrylic blocks, something heavy, to hold that in place while the glue dries. The greeting now is all on the front of the card, and like I said, it won't get hidden with the shaker material when the card shakes. Before I attach the elephant, I am going to stamp a couple little grass pieces. This doesn't have to be a realistic scene. Is there really grass in the clouds? No. But I thought it would be kind of a cute little added embellishment to the card itself. And in fact, I stamped two of those little grass pieces, but the one I didn't stamp it quite far enough out, and it's going to get covered up with the elephant, which is fine. That's no big deal. So I'll go ahead and attach the elephant now and make sure I get him covering up that little piece of grass that I stamped that I'm not going to use. I can add some adhesive to the star balloon as well and attach that to the front of the shaker. And then I can take the Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen and add some sparkle to the balloon. I like adding a little bit of sparkle to all of my stamped or colored balloons. Next, I am going to go ahead and add a little black dot with the Sakura black gel pen to the eye. I think it really makes the eye pop. And then I'm going to add a couple more stamped critters to the scene. I'll first add a little bit more grass to the other side. I'm going to color in these two pieces. I ended up stamping 3 total after I got these two little grassy areas colored in and added some critters. I thought I really needed one more, but I'll get to that here in just a little bit. I'm going to take my scrap of paper now and stamp the little teeny tiny bunny and the little teeny tiny snail and color them in. This does not take much time at all. They're really small images, so I can quickly color those, die cut them with the coordinating dies, and then I can pop them onto my card. So I'm using just some very, very light warm grays for the bunny, and then I'm using the 2 lighter red colors, R22 and R24 for the snail. and I'll die cut those, and you can see those attached to the, or I've laid them out on the card down there. Now I stamped an additional little grass piece. I'll color that in, and then I can attach both the little bunny and the snail to my card using a little liquid glue. I like using the Zig glue pen for anything that is very small, and both of these images are very teeny tiny. Once those are attached, I can start putting together the rest of my card. I'm ready to add the foam adhesive to create the actual shaker. I am using some Scotch adhesive that I've cut in half, and I'm going to double it up all the way around the shaker frame so that it's hidden from view. But the doubling it up makes it so that it's thick enough that the shaker material will shake inside of the shaker. And you want to make sure that it's creating a really good seal so that none of the shaker material will come flying out when the recipient shakes the card. I'm using a little bit of a powder tool here to hopefully help keep my shaker material from sticking to the foam tape. And then I'm going to just sprinkle in some star confetti from Pretty Pink Posh. This is the silver large star confetti. And then some sparkling clear beads. I'm going to pull all those backing papers off now. Then I will take the backer and place it onto the shaker, and then I can attach the entire shaker to my card base. So there is the actual shaker itself. I'll add some nice strong adhesive to the back of this and pop it right onto a landscape standard size A2 card. So this is a 5.5 by 4¼ inch card, and my card is all finished. I hope you've enjoyed this video showcasing a fun elephant card using the Avery Elle Ellie stamp set and coordinating dies. The supplies I've used are listed and linked below the video on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.